All right, this is a Tuesday, April 25th, 2023 meeting of the Hanson Board of Health. And it is now 4 p.m. and I'll take roll call.
This meeting's being recorded.
And this meeting is being recorded. Thank you. All right. I'll take roll call. Arlene Diaz. Here. Kevin Perkins.
Here.
And Melissa Panetti here as well. So let's look at the Board of Health minutes from April 4th, 2023 for approval.
They're in the folder.
There.
Yeah.
All right. Have you looked at these?
I looked away. I didn't see anything. I signed it. It looks accurate to me.
It would be nicer if somebody would put some toner in that machine.
I know.
Yeah.
I try to get the last little bit out of it.
You're gonna need a better copy for some of it you can't read.
Yeah, I can't read.
For us to sign, you're probably gonna need to.
I'll print out another copy.
Yes.
All right.
No, that's
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second that motion.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Your signature. All right. Next order of business to approve the South Shore Recycling Co-op intermunicipal agreement, which we have copies of in front of us. This comes up every 5 years, and it is actually to go before the select board for voting and, thank you, great. Let's do this one instead. For a vote. We, Arlene thought it would be good for us to at least have gone through it and be in support of what goes forth to the select board. Our representatives are, yep, okay, great. Sorry? What are our membership fees?
I believe it's, no, I can tell you in 1 second, because it's not listed in there, because I
No,
looked
it's
to
not.
see, I looked to see if they had updated them.
Okay.
Hang on, I can get you what we paid last year.
I want to vote a number, and it's not the right number.
No, I do have it, just a minute. Last year, we paid $4,850. So,
Where does that come from in our budget?
we have a line for South Shore Recycling through this falls under the transfer station. But it's, money set aside for
Okay.
social recycling, and a portion of it can be paid using the, grant money.
RDP?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
We don't
Okay.
generally do that, because usually it's funded,
Okay.
but if it should rise, well, about the 4 years, we could use money for that.
And that's for the 5 years.
No, that's annual.
Annual.
Oh, yeah, that says that.
It's,
It
so
actually
it's
says that right there.
submitted in June, and I pay it like the first one.
Like August or.
July.
July.
Yeah.
August it gets paid.
Could we confirm what the fees will be? I'm not suggesting we hold up necessarily. I'm just curious.
Yeah, see if they,
I know what the fees are. It'd be good for us to know.
have they voted that at a meeting?
We haven't voted to increase the fees, no.
Oh.
No.
Okay then.
No, we have not.
You can send Claire a quick email.
Okay.
It should be the same as last year.
Yeah.
Should be the same as last year if they haven't voted
If they
to
haven't
increase.
voted.
Yeah, no, we definitely have not voted to.
Okay. All right.
Last minute for you guys to be looking at this too. I don't know if you have any other questions.
I read through it when.
Okay, other than it's the same services, and I'm not
Yeah.
even sure if you know all of the services that we provide, but it's gonna be really the same. And we would know in advance.
I'll let you know if she gets back to me.
If there was gonna be any kind of an increase.
Great.
So it's essentially an extension of the existing agreement.
Yes,
There's no
yes.
changes or
No,
any dates.
no changes, and it says in here that, you could just renew it every 5 years. The year before it's up, you would renew it,
Okay.
and that's just what's happening at that point. That's 1.5 years.
Okay, and the only other thing I would say that I just want to make sure we pay attention to is getting the contact info for them up to speed so that we don't miss it in 5 years.
Because it went to the Board of Selectmen, but it went to John Stanbrook and Grio. So that has to be
Really?
updated.
Yeah, that's why we're down to the wire. None of us knew. It was ready.
Why didn't she send it to the Board of Health office?
Because they have to sign it, Board of Selectmen has to sign it.
Right, but the Board of Health has to approve for the Board of
No.
Selectmen. But what if the Board of Health doesn't want to move forward with it?
And they would have had a conversation with the selectmen about it. They didn't want to continue.
But if we didn't know about it, if nobody knew about it, why, I don't know, that this doesn't make any sense to me. If the agreement, if it falls under the Board of Health budget, why wouldn't it come to the Board of Health? And then the Board of Health would present it to the Select Board if they chose to move forward with it.
Yeah, that's not the way it's been done in the past, so I don't know. I can ask why it was set up that way, but I think it has to be.
Especially where the office is more constant and the downstairs changes all the time.
Yeah,
I wonder if it makes sense to have the contact be Teresa and Lynn because they're conceivably the most
we could
stable.
add her.
And then that
Yeah.
way, I mean, it does seem like the Board of Health needs to be notified when this comes up due.
Because if the board chose not to move forward with it, then the Select Board would not vote for it.
Also,
No.
you know, let's hypothetically say the fees had been voted to be increased and it's coming out of our budget line, we should know that and then be able to recommend or not recommend to the Select Board. So, I'm happy to send an email to Claire.
I could send her an email. I don't mind sending her an email.
Okay, and just to make sure that going forward, she has your and
I mean, we email each other all the
it
time.
must just be an old listserv they have, old.
It might be just for the Board of Selectmen too.
Yeah, maybe.
Not any of the other boards.
All right, and we should make sure this is on the Select Board's agenda too.
Is it on?
Last week to put it on the agenda.
I think it's on the agenda for tonight.
Okay,
It
great.
should be.
I think.
I did ask.
All right. Do we need to vote on this? Or we just, we have no issues with it moving forward?
I don't have any issues.
All right. Great.
Eileen was pretty involved in it. Eileen, do you see anything that?
No, nothing has changed in terms of the agreement. And there's a whole section in there, if we decided that we wanted to leave, how we could do that, so.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did
no.
see that. It was by vote of the selectmen at the end of a fiscal year.
Yep.
All right. Great. Do we have any septic plans?
One.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, both sides. There we
Yes.
go.
Yes.
It's over here.
Did you want to see these?
Gail, did you have any thoughts on this?
It's a two-bedroom deed restriction. It is what it is, and it's, the lot's a small size, like 6,100 square feet lot. It's just a postage stamp type lot. And I don't think you can get this any better than what it is, so. And you've got
Did you say it was 2-bedroom or is it 3-bedroom?
It's a two-bedroom deed
Two-bedroom.
restriction.
Restriction, okay.
two-bedroom deed restriction.
Looks like they're designed for a 3-bedroom,
Yeah,
but it's got a
designed for
2-bedroom,
Yep. Okay.
which is fine.
Give it all back.
Do you have any questions or comments, Eileen?
No.
Kevin?
No, I don't have any concern.
Does anybody want to make a motion for 69 Wood Street?
I'll make a motion that we accept the plan for 69 Wood Street.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And
I'll put it all together.
Is it signed? Is it signed?
Not,
Oh,
it's not in
I
my
was
order.
I was looking at this.
I'm getting good. All right. So next up, we have request for performance data regarding a health agent from police fire department head. This was something I wanted to chat about.
Yes, I realized that we didn't, when we talked about the format, we didn't talk about sort of people that Gil would interact with or users. And with emergency management, he works with both of them.
Yeah.
And so that's why I just thought about, we must add them to the list. And I didn't want to necessarily add other department heads because that's not the criteria that's being set for them. If they're not all gonna have input on each other's, then we should do that. But I don't know what they're doing as of yet in terms of other department heads, so I just thought those two at least. For some outside.
Do the police and fire chiefs weigh in on any other performance appraisals outside of their departments? I guess would be.
No,
I don't think so.
they do not.
Do they do them in their own
What do you mean?
performance appraisals?
On their,
But
the
they're within their own
firefighters?
department,
Yeah,
maybe.
They may within their own department. I'm not sure. Probably not, but I can't say one way or the
Right.
other.
I mean, because they haven't been done here either, so I don't know
I
who
know,
does them and who
I
doesn't.
can't imagine they weigh in on like the building inspector or wiring inspector or any
No.
other department, I
Yeah,
can't
but they
imagine.
don't work with them,
They do,
police and fire.
Oh,
absolutely,
yes.
Okay.
absolutely.
Alrighty, so I bring it up because I wanna make sure we are being consistent, across boards, departments, laterally. I mean, I suppose individual board members could seek information however they want it. I don't know if we can do much more than that.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
I can't imagine, and this is my own 2 cents, I can't imagine that, either chief would feel comfortable weighing in on that.
Outside of their department,
Correct.
yeah, I wouldn't either if I was in their position.
Yeah, I can't imagine. that
That's
they
for the,
would,
that's for the department
that
to
Rob
review.
or Mike would feel comfortable doing that.
That was just like. Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Any other stuff?
No.
So, revisiting 2 topics that we started last meeting. Public health nurse. We said we would table that to this meeting so that we'd all be able to look at the job description and whatnot. Did the 2 of you have any opportunity to go over this?
I had looked at the job description before.
Okay.
I imagine that it's changed any.
Yeah, it looks like this is a few years old.
At least, it was mid-pandemic or something.
Yeah.
Did you see?
I don't know if I saw it. 'Cause did we get a copy?
Yeah, I printed them
meeting.
out during the last meeting.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I saw this.
So, discussion?
I guess I would, want to know how this person's going to be used. It wouldn't just be maintenance. I would hope there would be some education, and we'd need to figure out how many hours do we have, and how we would plan that out.
Yeah, we only have $5,000 in the budget.
Right.
So,
So we want to be caught. I'm not in favor of stretching our budget. Obviously, we can't do that. We also need to be prepared for the unexpected. Clearly, when we absolutely need to enlist a public health nurse.
oh yeah.
So like there's
Question is, how many hours do we stretch it over months, and how many per month, and that because we don't need this person all the time, and we would get somebody who's maybe part-time working in a couple of other places.
right.
And so it may only be that we only need a couple hours
Right.
every month.
I mean, I see as I've asked questions and thought a little bit about this, the idea of paying somebody weekly, even for an hour, to check a computer system, something about that bothers me.
Effective.
I don't find that to be cost effective.
No.
But if something comes up on the computer system, I would want to have a nurse on board to address it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
You never know how long it's gonna take on the course of a week. Something may not come in, but, they check it. It's not every hour or anything like that. They check
Once a
it
day.
It's every day.
Yeah.
Once a day.
It's every day.
every day. And,
people
they come
sometimes
in.
will bill hourly for that.
They did. The DNA bill was $20 every time they logged on.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
$20 a day.
Yeah.
So for $5,000 divided over 12 months is $416 a month. That's not a
How
lot.
many hours? What's the salary?
I don't know. I don't remember what the salary was.
I thought it was 50.
35.
No, it wasn't 50. Definitely wasn't 50.
35.
I thought it was something.
33 to 35.
40. What is it? 35?
30 to 35 an
No.
hour,
Okay.
not eligible for benefits.
It's like 13 hours. 12 if they were at 30 hours. $30 an hour, it'd be like 13 hours a month, 12 hours a month.
Well, just for the record, just so we're accurate, it's $30.45 to $35.34.
Right, we
Just to
did
make it
say
a
that,
fair.
now my
Those
numbers are
pennies,
off.
but
Just to
I
make it
was
a
way off.
fair. Well,
Yeah,
I didn't want to say
All
it,
right.
didn't I?
so,
You guys could change the salary on it too, though.
or do mid-range, like 32 something.
Silly question, who else has access to Maven?
Gil and myself are the only two that have access to it.
So, given the budget issues, not that I want to make the unpopular recommendation that either of you need any more work, but is it as simple as, this is my ignorance coming through, is it as simple as logging on and
So,
Hanson pops up and there's,
so I get an email if there's a new COVID case. I get an email saying that there's a new COVID case. So I'm not doing Maven anymore, but when I was, I would log in, look at the information on the particular individual, and I would call them and contact them. I also did it for Lyme, TB. There was like a whole litany of diseases that I would call people on and call their doctor's office and trying to get information. It depends because depending on the disease. So if it's disease A, they'll say, okay, you need to get the answers to these questions. Please contact, and the state will say contact the individual or contact the doctor's office or whomever. You never know what it's going to say,
Okay.
and whatever it says. And then there's a host of questions based on if you're contacting the doctor's office. These are the questions you need to ask. If you're contacting the individual, these are the questions you need to ask. So you could log in and not have anything, or you could log in and have 3 Lyme diseases, babiosis, or this disease or that, and you're going to have to call somebody on something. So, but you never know what you're going to get. Who knows?
and
You have to be trained on this. You have to, and that's why you get someone who's working on it existing, because the training is so intense as far as the software. It takes a long time for people to learn it.
Yep.
And so most of the times a retired nurse or something like speaking of the one in Whitman, they retire and they do it 2 or 3 hours a week, whatever. It's basically just going in and what particular one it is they're going to research. TB, there's a bunch of diseases that.
I never got training for it. I will say I never really
Yeah.
got any in-depth training on it.
For
It's
Maven.
just kind of you fall
Didn't they have
into it.
calls that you could,
Yeah,
you had
they
a
do.
call where you actually learned about how to get on and log in and all of that, right?
Yeah, the basics, the basic. Because it was in the middle of COVID. Who had time to? You had to hit the ground running. So who had time for any of that?
And they were doing a bunch of people at the same time, so
Right.
they did it.
So I mean, to say that somebody logs in and checks, you could log in and check, and there couldn't be anything, or you can log in and check, and there can be 5 things. You never know. You never know.
And didn't you guys have a problem printing that report or finding a
I
way to
could
print it?
never
Could
find
never.
that report.
There's some things that you can't print. They're unprintable.
No,
Yeah.
because I specifically
Yeah.
went in and tried to get that report that says what disease and how many. I could never find it because there's a whole litany of different reports,
Right.
and you can put in different criteria. I could never
I
find
know
that
the
one
nurses
specific,
in
and I
Massachusetts.
called them,
Yep.
and she never got back to me.
all right. So, I guess, what do the two of you think about the use of a public nurse?
I'm wondering if we wait to see how town meeting goes, and kind of just improving and progressing on reports, scheduling, that kind of stuff, that we kind of see how that goes in the next couple of weeks before we really make a decision on it.
What do you mean? I just don't know. I just don't know what you mean about.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how is town meeting gonna change our need for a nurse?
Well, not the need, but where our budget will be.
They could cut the $5,000.
I'm just saying, as far as budget and funding, that's the only reason I mentioned that. Would it make sense to wait until after that to really make a decision on it,
Do you want me to add it to the May?
to see what kind of
Agenda.
financial position we'd be in?
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
not
I
hitting
don't,
it. I mean,
The person is not contracting, they're, per hour, and it's not like it says what comes in, and you never know what's going to come in.
You never know.
And
Didn't you say that the nurses in Whitman would be willing
yeah,
to?
I said, because they're retired and they do things, and one works very close with the school, so and she has since COVID stuff, and she stays with it. They do still track cases in the school. They do a positivity rate for us, Whitman and Hanson, and we're way down to like 5 cases this week. So, I mean, it's not like they can't tab their bill or anything, because we're aware of what's going on, and they'll report to us, and there is no report that you can, as far as I understand, there is no report you can print out of Maven.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
there are
There
several
is.
reports that you can print out of Maven, but the report that she's specific.
Yeah.
Do you remember the reports that the Norwell VNA used to give us?
Yeah, I thought they generated those.
I think they generated
Yeah,
it off of their
Excel.
They
software.
still had to be able
because-
to access the information.
I don't know how. I mean, because I tried every report that there was there, and I could never figure out how to do it.
I was just gonna say, I don't remember what the answer was on this, but is this something that is typically contracted out? As far, I'm not the public health nurse, but with Maven, that's something that's typically
It
done by
was,
the public health nurse and not
but
done
then
in-house.
they decided before COVID, they had decided they weren't gonna do it anymore. They were moving it in, so they dropped all the towns that they did it for. The normal VNA.
Norwell VNA.
And then all the other VNAs,
Followed
none of them wanted to be bothered. And so everybody stopped it, but it was something that if you didn't have a nurse to look over it, they would go over it and then they would do the follow-up for us. But probably a year before COVID, they had already said, we're not renewing our contract because we're going in a different direction. So they dropped 2 or 3 towns. I guess I would want to figure out what it is if we have an idea of what it is we want this person to do.
Right.
And so it would be follow-up from Maven, but would it also include some education, stuff that we're lacking? So I guess not having to vote on it tonight, but I think we should at least talk about what it is we expect and
Yep.
what we want that person to do and sort of what the parameters are going to be. How many hours a month did you say? Is that 14?
Yeah,
And
30,
figure out
12,
the best use of this person.
Which I
12.
believe,
12 hours a month.
exhausts the budget.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And is
That's
that
like
something?
right
That's
down
for
to
the year.
That's right down to the penny.
It's down
Yeah.
to the,
Right.
so we would have nothing.
But that's been in that line for 2 or 3 years, and we've just not used it.
And
Yeah.
that's something we're gonna commit to as part of that it's gonna be 12 hours
Ongoing.
a month. And then we're just
Yes.
gonna use it as we see fit for that
Yep.
12
Yeah,
hours.
you
a
can-
And
month.
so it may be that one month she doesn't do 12 hours, and another month she might do more. So we adjust it according to the needs.
So that's different then.
Right.
Because you don't want her to come and spend 12 hours if there's nothing to already do.
I guess that's my point. I don't want us spending money for no reason. So I don't want to contract or commit someone to 3 hours a week when
Yeah.
they may pop up with nothing in Hanson on Maven for the entire week, but we are spending $90 to $100.
Right.
We don't have the ability to be that.
No, we don't. But I would also like to see potentially, the VNA used to do blood pressure checks. They used to do them here at Town Hall, and they would do them, I don't know if it was a library, a meeting house, Lane,
Senior center.
senior center. They were offering services, which we have not been able to do for a long time. So that I could see the person spending a couple hours a month doing that. Or looking at what the town needs. And being able to spend some of that time doing that, not just focusing on Maven. Because there's a ton of education that you're missing.
See, they're not gonna come in and demand 4 or 5 hours a week automatically. They're willing to work as per case,
We just
Time
tell
to
them
spend
what
on
it is we want.
basically.
So then the hours wouldn't be 12 hours a month. I agree with Melissa's concern that if we set it to, they're essentially in a salary position that we're gonna pay them 12 hours a month, as a
No, it's-
fee.
No.
It's basically
I don't think you can do that. I think they have to work the town.
Right, I'm not
They-
saying,
yeah.
but if we designate that they're gonna work 3 hours a week, how they see fit or whatever it is, or how we see fit with agreement on this is what we want them to focus on in the scope of work, but if we don't have anything that's pressing, to be, like Melissa stated, to be spending money kind of, not for no reason, but something that's not warranted, at the time.
It's basically service rendered.
Yeah.
Whatever they do.
Right, whatever
Service
they
rendered.
do, right,
Yeah.
They
right.
get paid for what they do.
But
So.
there could actually be an ongoing list of things that need to be done. I don't think that person would be sitting around doing nothing. Because we just have not had any indication on anything, in 3 or 4 years. So there's plenty to do.
And how do their hourly logs work at that point? It's all done remote, I'm assuming, right? They don't actually come in and report to Board of Health office.
No.
So it's,
We could decide that. We could decide whether we want that person to come into the office and do whatever they have to do here. That's why I say we talk about it now before we decide what we're gonna do.
I think that would be more beneficial to us if we were gonna move in that direction, that they at least come in and do some FaceTime, you know, actually in
Spend
the
all of their
office,
time here, or
physically
providing
checking in and not
services.
just doing something remotely.
yeah, I don't think anybody had the intention of doing remote.
Yeah, I think it should be in the
yeah.
Board of Health office.
It definitely would be here. Or like I said, you know, one of the nights they have a meeting, they can come in, people can get blood pressure checked. That's something that people used to come through all the time and do. It's a service. You know, we're doing mosquitoes now, mosquito prevention. There could be a variety of educational things that person could come and do when there's Tuesday night meetings, being able to pass that information out to the public as people come through.
Yeah, I'm not at all opposed to this. I think we just have to like
Figure out
flesh
exactly
it
what
out,
we
yeah,
want.
so that we have a very clear plan and we can fund it. So I'm wondering if we revisit. I think this is going to take a couple of meetings to put into effect. I wonder if it will be after town meeting. We put it on the May 16th agenda. And for that meeting, we have each of us come prepared with what we would like to see happen very clearly. Gil, you too. And then we can discuss that, pare it down, pair it up, whatever we decide, and then it might be useful to have discussion with the Whitman nurse.
Yeah, I'll contact her and see what she has to say about it. So.
What does she
There's
do?
2 retired nurses there,
Okay.
and they do like, 3 to 5 hours a week, if that.
If they're not in the office, I think you have to call them.
Yeah, they're in the back office there someplace.
They're not physically in the office every day, because I've gone there and I had to call and leave a message for that person to call me back. So it's not like they're sitting in the office doing nothing.
So I got one question, as far as the job function. So, where one of their roles would be to monitor Maven, I'm assuming that needs to be done on a daily basis, right?
Yeah, I don't know
So
that we
how
want a
would
part-time
that
person doing that.
how would that work as far as having someone that's going to do those limited hours? So
That would have to be done in the office, not by that person. That would eat up all of our time.
right. Well, that's why I'm
Yeah.
asking that to just have someone monitor that, even if it was daily and it was to check every morning.
Right.
And it takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That might not sound like much, but that's going to eat up quite a bit of time by the end of the month.
It will. And then you also have to, they're a little funny about how many users they allow in Maven. And if we had 2, I don't know that they would give us a 3rd.
Yeah, they would.
They're very restrictive.
Yeah. We had 3 at one time.
But yeah, I don't know if that would be a good use of that person's time. So we should look at all of the things that we had put in that job description from a couple of years ago and update what we think we want that person to do.
I don't think we want
Necessarily
all of
either.
it. No, we can't afford all of it.
Be a wish list.
Right, that's a big wish list.
It's nice to have nice things, but when you can't afford them, you can't afford them.
Yeah, that is unfortunately where we're at.
Faced with a beer bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Unless we get some kind of grant.
Do you want to call the Whitman
Yeah. Yeah.
That way it's an,
Definitely.
if you can talk the language.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I'm supportive of, you know, like Eileen had mentioned, doing training sessions, public information stuff like
Yep.
that, whether it's at our meetings or on the weekend or
Right.
whatever it is. Like, I think that's a good utilization of the time, couple hours, a month dedicated to something like that.
Yep.
And, to offer services to the residents. I think that's great. I just don't know how we would kind of delegate it to some of the other, stuff.
Yeah, I mean, even addressing stuff that comes up in Maven, I mean, there are certain things that we should absolutely have a nurse following up on. Not that I want to get into like a hierarchy
Right.
of communicable diseases, but there are certain things, if they popped up, I would, like a TB case or something, we would want a
There's
public
so
health
many,
nurse
I mean.
addressing that.
Right.
I mean, just, salmonella, I mean, if you get to run a salmonella, it probably takes, the trash out of salmonella case, it probably takes, probably an hour per case, and if you get 2 or 3 in the town of Hanson, it can turn into,
So it's more like you were mentioning, Melissa, that we're not looking for them to monitor it, but we're looking for them to conduct
Follow-ups.
investigations and follow up.
They would
Okay.
they would do the follow up.
Right, like what Teresa was saying,
If it was one of the
she was
communicable
doing,
diseases
which I can't
listed.
fathom how you would do that right now.
No.
But I think definitely a good, well, not a good portion, but a portion of that I think that's good, something beneficial to the residents and,
Yep.
training, something like that, even if it's just one day a month, then a couple hours.
All right, so Arlene
I'll
will
talk to
talk
the
to
nurse.
the nurse and get some info for us for the May 16th meeting.
I added it to the agenda.
You added to the agenda, Teresa, and then the three of us will come with a sort of
Haven't
condensed.
gone through that, yeah.
Yep.
The highlights.
You need a copy of that? Do you want a copy of that?
I have a copy at home still
Okay.
of this one.
Before you go any further,
Mhm.
Claire got back to me and said the dues are $4,850, up to $3,000 may be paid with RDP funds.
So no change.
No change.
I don't remember either. On the salary range, was that something that we reviewed of what others were being paid to? Is that something maybe you could find out from
Yeah, I can.
just on the salary
Yeah.
range to make sure that
Yeah.
maybe we're way off and it's more money than this when we actually were going to post it?
I'm sure.
That's kind of a concern
And-
too, with the budget, that we could be looking at a fictitious
With,
number. Yeah.
With the pandemic, things have changed completely. So people can demand more now.
All right.
Can I just ask a quick question about, are these two sheds?
Any more on the public health nurse topic? All right. Well, we will continue next time. Go ahead, Eileen.
I wanted to know, on this mini warehousing, are those two sheds
those
Where
two
are they
containers, they're containers,
containers?
Storage containers.
storage containers, yeah.
Okay, and where are they going?
The transfer station, we're putting one in by the dog pound, and we're putting one beside inside the gate of the dog pound, looking at the dog pound on the right-hand side.
Yep.
That fenced in area
If
there.
you're on the right-hand side, the door's on the left?
Yep.
Okay,
And the other one's gonna go beside, the cardboard container, a little further beyond the cardboard container.
Yep. and what are we gonna be
They're
putting in?
dual door containers.
I see it.
Overflow, could be mattress overflow, the one that's gonna be down by the dog pound, probably compost bins that, they might put some of them in there.
Yep.
That depends when they do
Yep.
get it, how many we actually have, so. But they're all considered, for recycling, we buy them under, mattress overflow and recycling, so. So if anything can go in that one container, anything can go into that one.
We also talked about potentially using in the summer months.
Yep.
For the swap shop.
Yeah.
So that it's more visible.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
I know we talked about getting them, but.
So I don't know what that brings our funds down because of the grant's coming out again. So it won't be long now, we'll be getting some more money, so.
We were one of the high achievers I saw.
Yeah, we are.
RDP funds.
Oh, I thought we were the highest.
We were like
I-
the highest.
There was some conversation about that at our last meeting, but I hadn't looked at it. Situate, Kevin was thinking he was the highest. I'm gonna have to look.
Well, I think it's between three of us, 3 times, so.
I'm gonna have to look.
Like,
Yeah.
Arlene,
I will.
all right. All right. You're good. I'll start with that.
I am all set with that.
And food inspections,
These are
also,
most recent food inspections.
also hold over from last meeting and the discussion about whether to bring those back in-house. Heidi's Hollow opened.
I would like to see them stay the way they are. If we're doing them, we've cut out a bunch of the inspections. I'm waiting for a letter from Cadet. They're gonna dismantle the Dunkins in the Speedway store. We met with 7-Eleven and Cadet. He's got no interest in staying there anymore because of his lease, the type of lease he has. He's gonna dismantle that store.
Okay.
And I do see there's a permit coming through rebuilding the Main Street store. So he's probably gonna do that instead.
So that's closed and it's gonna stay
That's
closed.
And that one there, I see, forgot to tell you this one. This looks like they're dismantling the chocolatier there, the chocolate shop.
One on Main Street?
Yeah, nothing came in from her, right?
No.
Okay. So, there's a few of them that, that we're not gonna have permits, so that's gonna cut down the amount that's being done. And, the ice cream trucks and any food trucks, I do those inspections. I think we have 4 ice cream trucks total. I do them and they'll be probably the next month or so. And then food trucks, we haven't had food trucks yet this year, so they'll actually be cutting down because part of what we'll talk about more about that in my agent's report as far as things that are going on.
So my position is fairly well known at this point, but I would like to bring them back in-house and be
Because
mine.
we're paying somebody outside to do them.
Correct. My understanding is that they were, prior to COVID, they were done here
Yes,
by the health
they've always
agent.
been.
And I think we need.
Done. Didn't they start after Vinnie passed? We started using her.
Because when we didn't have an agent.
Yeah, when I didn't have an
But
agent,
then,
yeah.
when we had an agent, we no longer used that person. It was only when we didn't have an agent.
Right.
For a variety of reasons. I mean, I think that this is obviously a lot of paperwork to go through, and if it's done by our health agent, then we can get briefed on any issues or concerns in a condensed manner going on in town. So there's one benefit. Obviously, there's the financial benefit.
I review, once she does, I review them and look them all over. And then if I see it necessary, I'll extend and re-inspect places or create re-inspections from code violations that are there. And that opens the door for me to keep going. Like at McDonald's and those places, the door gets open for me to keep going and follow up on all the violations and stuff. So.
Any other thoughts?
We're essentially paying him to do them in spite of his salary, and we're paying somebody else to actually do them.
Right.
So we need to figure that out.
Right.
If they're gonna be done by somebody outside, where's that money coming from? Does that mean his salary is reduced to pay for that? Or that he does the inspections? We've never had to pay outside people, to do the work for a health agent unless we didn't have a health agent. Then we contracted with people to provide the services that we couldn't provide.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were just talking about the health nurse. When we had something come in, I went out and did the research because we didn't have a health nurse and we didn't have a health agent. So I went out and did that. So if it was things I couldn't do,
the whole idea of the independent inspector was to free up time for the health agent.
for where?
For any town. Any town around, to free up the health agent to do other things. So the health agents have increased their inspections and what they have to do has been increased. There's been so much unfunded mandates coming out that health agents aren't keeping up with it. And if you see every town is saying the same thing, well, all these unfunded mandates and the things they're supposed to be doing, things we're supposed to be keeping track of. Now, I don't want to start bringing this up now, but this is going to talk about later. Going to bring up a subdivision that's going to take place in the town of Hanson, and it's going to require a lot of time. And I've been talking to people about time, and my time is 35 hours. That's 4 for Fridays and a couple for Tuesdays. So the time available for me to be available is only so many hours. So yes, to do my hours that I do in the most efficient way, yes. It's food inspections, it's paid by license, it's go on to other things. Hanson is changing, and we've got some big things coming down the pipe, and it requires hours. Hours on top of hours. I've been doing it a long time, I don't take vacation time, I don't take time off. But there comes to a point that some of the things coming down the pipe to the town of Hanson, in which we're going to have to sit down and talk about a few of these things, because it's putting, it's doing a lot of things, and it's requiring a lot of time. Now, if we want to get into that, we can get into that part of it now.
I don't know any other help. Pembroke is the only thing that comes to mind where they have people doing it because they have over 100 restaurants. One health agent couldn't do that. That's all they would be doing. But I don't know of other towns. I'll talk to.
Pembroke has three inspectors.
But they have over 100 restaurants.
East Bridgewater, West Bridgewater does their inspections.
Who does the inspections?
East Bridgewater, West Bridgewater does their inspections. They have a food inspector. He does their inspections.
I don't know.
So
Say that again.
the agent from West Bridgewater does.
Okay, that's the part you left out. The agent from West Bridgewater does the inspections for East
I
Bridgewater?
think he's an inspector.
Okay, you didn't say the word agent,
Yeah.
so I was like,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, he said East Bridgewater.
I think he's an inspector. I want to say he's an inspector. But,
gotcha.
I've mentioned in the past before, I think that, we should take part of the meeting and actually have a type of workshop type meeting where we can discuss some of these things. Like I say, we have some big projects coming down the pike here, and it's going to put a strain on my time, and we're also going to talk about using somebody else's time. We've got the Liberty Woods down the street here starting.
Gil,
It's a massive.
Gil, I think that,
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by workshop. But I think if you want to talk about the town and the projects that are coming, I would welcome it. But we should put it on the agenda.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that, let's get together and talk about these things. Let's just, don't pull things out of the hat, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. I think it's very important to what's happening in this town in the next couple of years. We gotta get together, and when I say workshop, that's what I'm saying, put our heads together and, see how we can do the best we can.
Kevin, did you have any thoughts?
So, just out of these inspections that are here, I count them up as 9. Be done on the 18th, 17th, 22nd, 24th. Ranging anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours and 45 minutes. That was for Shaw's. So out of 9 inspections, it was a total of 6 hours, 10 minutes of time on those, which come out to an average of 41 minutes per inspection. I know we have, how many inspections did we figure we have a year?
Hold on. I have a food list, hang on.
And I'm not saying I don't want to do them. I'm just saying this is an easy way to free up time for me to go do the things I really have to do.
I mean, I'm not against bringing them back in-house, but I don't know that I'd like to see something get brought back in-house. I agree with you thinking, whether it's the food inspections or perk tests, one or the other. I don't think that we should dump all of it back on Mr. Amato's lap.
44, and that includes the schools.
44
Per
total per year.
And that doesn't include the churches.
44 twice a year,
Correct.
so
So 88
88.
inspections total.
Can I get an average per month?
I mean, eight.
When you wrote it down, we were trying to get an average per month?
No, I was just trying to gauge how much time it would take out of the day.
Oh.
That's what I was trying to gauge. That, you know, I mean, Shaw's was a big one. That's a lengthy one. I'm sure
Shaw's
there's,
always is.
I'm sure there's some other ones that are pretty lengthy, but
Schools.
I'm sure those are. And then some of the other restaurants, Venus, you know, some of the bigger establishments, I'm sure are probably are lengthy. But
I don't.
I was just trying to gauge how much time it's going to take, you know, on average for an inspection, and to be doing those, how much time it's going to take out of the day. I'm not against trying to bring something back in-house, whether it's, like I said, perk tests or these. But that's something maybe we can kind of weigh out our options to see maybe what would make more sense, you know, financially and time management wise with Gil.
Like I say, it's pretty much, I'm wide open to this, you know, as far as, you know, time management and everything, because it's, you know, it's gonna become I think, you know, within the next few months, it's gonna be a problem, so.
I mean,
I would go for food inspection, bring them back in.
I would too. Yeah, I am.
I mean, would it be feasible to do like 2 of them a week? Could we set it up that way?
You don't set them up. You just
No.
decide to go out and do them because you don't give them forewarning.
No, I'm just saying as far as, because they have
Oh.
a time period of when they're done, right? They
Yeah.
have to be done.
I mean, most of them are done. Hold on, I closed it out. Hold on.
Like, has she already done this month? So it must be done.
Usually she just goes and gets all of them done for the first 6 months. And then she'll come back towards the end of the year and do the rest of them. So there's,
I'm just wondering what would make more
One.
sense if
hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right now, 7 of them have not been done. That need to be done.
Out of the 88?
Correct.
I'm just wondering
the
if it makes
schools
more
are
sense to
done.
try to, you know, knock
A
out
couple of weeks.
average like 2 a week, or if it makes sense to try to take and do a bunch of them in 1 week every month, kind of thing. I'm just wondering what makes more sense.
So, do we do these on a fiscal year?
No, general
No.
calendar year.
Calendar year. So she's already got one inspection on each place done.
There are
Or
7
those
places.
7
There are 7 places that have not been done as of yet.
So even if you did 2 a week, by the end of May, you've got those done.
And that's an hour.
And then
half
you have
a
to
week.
look at, right, and after that,
For the
it's
average.
just a matter of,
Well, if we have 88 divided by 50, it comes out to 1.76.
so how many of these are already done?
88 total a year, right?
Yeah.
88
About
inspections roughly a year. Figure 50 weeks because not 52, right?
Right,
And that comes out to
Vacation.
1.76. So we said
so
2.
it's 2 a
In
week,
some weeks, if it's a big inspection,
you'd only do
you
one.
do 1.
But I think she said those are done. The schools,
But
The
I'm just
schools-
saying,
yeah,
next
yeah,
year
in
we're gonna
general.
have that issue.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Oh,
not
yeah.
right now. Just
it's
putting out fires.
2 hours a week is not that time consuming, I don't think, to be able to do a couple.
I'm just brainstorming. That's all.
Oh,
I'm just
okay,
trying,
no,
I'm just trying
yeah.
to understand
Yeah.
what it would entail and how much of a workload it would add. I think if we did do this, I think we should probably continue to just subcontract out the perk tests.
Absolutely,
You know,
we have to.
I think that, you know, we're not in the septic business. It needs to be verified and witnessed, but I think to just continue doing that, and the applicant's paying for it. You gotta remember that the applicant pays for that fee that covers,
It's not coming out of the budget.
right?
Right.
I like how you said that. I worded it wrong. It's not coming out of the budget, so,
Right.
could it be looked at as that, yeah, if we're doing them in-house, is it revenue coming in? Possibly, but I think if,
This is coming out of the budget.
right. Just my opinion.
And I think, to your point, Gil, there are some things that are coming up that we'll need to consider, and I do hope you put that on the agenda, but I'm hearing you, I'm hearing that.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, like I've said, I'll keep saying to every meeting, these are things we have
Sure.
to talk about. There's things that, that the town of Hanson's never seen before.
Well, we could reinstitute food inspections
Mhm.
for the next year.
Because these things are coming up, they're not currently on our table right now, so that you could plan ahead and plan inspections around them. They're coming, but they're not today.
We could reinstitute for a year, see how it goes. Assist with time management and planning.
Mhm.
And as, things come on board
Look
that
at what's feasible.
Gil has to take care of in town, then we should, to your point, Gil, we should be hearing from you regularly about what's going on and how you're doing with it.
Yeah, and like I say, the report on paper, it's not, it doesn't say what's really happening in town. Like I say, you get so many big changes coming to the town. I mean, just the one project that has me a little bit concerned about.
I think it would be helpful,
Times.
though, for you to be specific in future meetings. When you say there's a lot of big things coming,
Right.
or a lot of big things, I'm sitting here and I've heard that a lot. I want to hear what specifically it is that you are contending with. So let's get it on a future agenda
Yep.
and be prepared with specifics so that we know
I
exactly
mean,
what.
we can talk a specific one tonight if you want. My
Well,
biggest concern.
Let's get there.
Okay.
Let's go orderly through the agenda. And I know, Gil.
Well, you get me
you like
going
to-
here, and I just
I
start
gotta-
talking, I don't stop.
I gotta keep you on
You know?
course. So.
Yeah.
How
I definitely feel that it's time to bring them back in. I don't know, do we need to take a vote, or are we just making this recommendation? I mean, we didn't vote to send them out. We did it out of necessity at that
Mhm.
time. So it's just a matter of, do we just make it as of today, they come back in? And then we revisit it as needed in terms of time?
Yes.
Just a couple things with that. One, I mean, is it fair to the person that's been doing them? Should we set a deadline or something? Or, I mean,
She works a lot of different places.
May I make a recommendation?
Yes.
So there are 7 remaining. Maybe it would make Gil, I don't want to speak for you.
No, I just say it.
I don't
'cause
want
Let her.
I don't want to speak for you, but
Yeah.
maybe if Gil went with Kathy through the next 7 inspections and
No.
saw exactly how it was done and how she goes about doing
She
that,
gets them
She's
done.
very efficient.
She gets
so
them done
that
fast.
maybe that would give you a better understanding of what's the easiest and most efficient way to get it done.
Yeah.
And there are only 7, so that shouldn't take that much time.
Yeah.
But again, if you're not comfortable with that, I just
Oh,
thought
no,
that
I mean,
maybe that would help you
Great idea.
to
It is.
feel more comfortable.
yeah, I mean, the inspections, but she does do them
But
fast.
she knows, like,
Does a good job.
and she's been doing it for a long
For
time.
Shaw's is normally like 5 hours, maybe, I think it is.
Yeah.
it was 2 hours, 45 minutes. She was.
Yeah.
2 minutes. So,
Yeah, that was going to be my 2 things. One was going to be,
Yeah.
Gil, do you feel comfortable, kind of taking this on immediately or very soon? Do you feel comfortable that, you can just jump in and start doing them, or do you need a
No,
little
I'll
bit of
go
a
with- I'll
refresher
go-
training or something like that? That was going to be one of my questions. And then the other one was, just like you had said, Teresa, just to allow her to kind of finish up the remaining ones and show Gil. But I mean, at the same time, does someone really want to show someone how to do the job that they're not going to be doing anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Can we really ask someone to do that? We're going to keep them in house and not use you anymore, but we want you to kind of.
Well, we
Yeah,
could
just
always
give
keep
him
her
a
as a
refresher.
backup if need be, or if something.
And just tell her he's gonna shower her. I
Yeah.
think she would be okay with that.
I just don't know. I just
But I
It
don't.
seems
I
like
don't
she does a
see-
thorough job. I mean, the reports
She
always
does
seem
it,
pretty thorough.
she
They-
does
they
it for a
seem
lot
good.
of towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she
mean, maybe we
inspects
could
for a
reach
lot of
out to her and
towns.
ask her if she'd be comfortable with that, and then staying on as a, on-call basis kind of thing if we need to.
Yeah, because there's different things that have popped up that I know I've called her on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever called her on anything.
I've
Just
called
with
a
like,
couple of things out.
this stuff comes up that you've never dealt with before, and
Right.
she knows a lot
Very
about it,
good.
so I would call her and ask for feedback from her. So,
Okay. You want me to call or you wanna call?
he can call her.
Gil, you can
I
call
can
her?
call, yeah.
Yeah, she can call her.
Alright.
I mean, I think that would good.
Yeah,
just
we got a
to kinda-
good relationship. I mean, she does a lot of towns. You know, she's flexible, so. I don't think it's just absolutely need this, but I mean, I'm willing to do this, and other areas we can talk about. Like,
It's been a few years, right?
we can do it.
I
You're
think
doing other things.
I think it should help the budget out quite a bit too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not gonna save the world, but
No,
it's gonna
but-
make a difference.
So effective what date?
Well, we said she has 7 left.
To shadow, if he would shadow.
So
her.
he can shadow her for the next
Yeah.
7?
Yeah, for the next 7,
Okay.
and then once those are complete. So maybe not an arbitrary day, but just when
we
those
don't know,
7
yeah,
are complete.
We don't know her schedule and when she's gonna do those.
That sounds good to you.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Sometime.
All right. All right. Next, septic plans submitted. Okay, we don't have any of those.
We did that.
Ongoing project updates. So those would be the list that we established last.
Did you look at these?
I think, oh, was this the,
Food
no, I didn't
inspectors.
see those,
You
no,
won't.
I did not.
So Camp Kawani is Kevin. Any updates?
I thought it would be good before I reach out to them to just review the website because I'm kind of new to it just the same way someone looking to do something up there would be. So I started reviewing the website and I wanted to try to understand that almost as if I was going to be applying to have an event there. So
Okay.
I'll continue to review that and then I'll reach out to them and see if I can find where the issues are with the process.
Okay. Great. Anything from Green Hanson, Gil? Anything from
I
that
talked to her
department?
yesterday. She was here yesterday. Talked to her yesterday. Some point in time next week or so, we're gonna get together and see how we can interact with each other and possibly get a hold of Claire and maybe have Claire
Okay.
do a phone call, Zoom or something.
They did some kind of an event over the weekend in Halifax, I just
Yeah.
can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have our town cleanup day, right? This
Yeah,
coming
that's
weekend?
Saturday. She said,
is it this
Saturday?
yeah.
Okay. Great. Nothing else, Gil?
Yeah.
On Green Hanson?
No, that's it. Just trying to get everybody together.
Arlene, South Shore Recycling Collaborative. Any updates?
Other than the event that we're having, a 25th anniversary, and there will be tickets made available for the board, for the municipality, and it's either 3 or 4, I can't remember.
I think it's 4.
It said 4, but then at the meeting we had talked about it being 3, so I have to ask her if she fixed that. She was supposed to fix it, but she didn't, but it does say that.
Yeah, it's 4.
But it's gonna be in the middle of the day, let's say it's the 16th, and so far we have 3 speakers. I'm one of the new commissioners, and then 2 local legislators that are gonna speak. Other than that, intermunicipal agreement, hazardous waste days, I went to one in Hanover a couple weeks ago. It was, not a lot of wait, I made an appointment, got there, went through, it was very smooth. She's hired a new person there to do that.
Great.
So hopefully we'll be, still working on getting that set up in Hanover as a permanent site,
Great.
with dates and times, but other than that, What else going on? Oh, after the party.
All right. Emergency planning?
I'm in the middle of a conference, which is where I said I'm supposed to be in Atlanta, for that right now. That's gonna be on Thursday morning. We had a meeting. Gil, are you gonna be able to do that training on the 10th?
I saw that, yeah, I'll do that, 'cause I know I have to.
You have to do it because I'm
Yeah.
working, so I will join at 1, but I don't know how long it goes. And I don't know if they'll give us credit if I only stay for an hour, so you have to attend
It's a
that. Or we
4-hour
have to do
one, right?
3. I don't remember.
He's doing it by Zoom.
It might have been
It looks
3
like
to
2.
4 hours, but there was a 3-session thing that we were supposed to be in. Gil wasn't able to go to one, and I went to one, but in order for us to get credit for it, all 3 have to be attended, which means then we wouldn't have to do 3 drills in Hanson, and we don't want to do 3 drills.
I got credit for that first one.
The first one, and then I went to the second one, so I got credit for that, so, but I can only sit down on an hour then. So it's imperative that you attend that.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to do more work. Trying to think if there's anything else coming up. When I went to the last meeting, I went to a communication training they had 2 weeks ago. That was really, really good, and I can bring that stuff back here. There's also a meeting this week. Homeland Security is putting on communications that's going to be available for emergency planning, and we would sign up, and you have a membership, but it's actually $0. And they would give us phones that would be on a different frequency. So if cells went down, if satellites went down, we could use this frequency.
Okay.
I dropped it off to Robbie to make sure that he was going to be aware, and I'm going to see if I can sit through it. It's a webinar coming up this week. So that's what's going on there.
Great. And I have the transfer station, which is likely to be a sparky conversation on Monday night at town meeting. And then the 19th, I have the next task force committee meeting with Mike Dugan, Joe Weeks, and our advisor, the town accountant. So we also have Claire coming out to our June 2nd transfer station task force meeting, committee meeting, to present to us on a whole host of options for the transfer station and
Things that we could do.
things we can potentially do to restructure and just make it more efficient, etc. So I will report back. And then anything else under ongoing projects? No. All right.
Yeah.
So next is chairman's update. I don't have anything beyond. I will be heading out and not available for contact from May 2nd until May 11th. So I guess that.
I knew that.
You're the
Because there's no cell service out there anyway,
You're
so
the go-to.
even if you wanted to call us, you can't. There's stretches for 100 miles
Perfect.
where there is no satellite, no cell.
Sounds lovely.
You will not.
So yeah, Arlene will be the go-to, and I'll touch base with you, Teresa, before then, just to put anything on the agenda, because I believe you'll have posted by the time I get back.
When are you coming back?
The 10th, the 11th. Sorry.
The 11th, so I'll post on, oh no, in the wrong month. I will post on the 11th.
Oh, all right. So I'll touch base with you that morning. Okay.
I have one question. Does it matter if he's assigned?
Person in charge. I don't know. Have they been?
I didn't hear what you said.
Does it matter if this is signed or not by the person that
What?
we did the inspection for? This is the American Legion, but it's not signed on either paper that they acknowledged.
Oh, I wonder why.
Because the rest are all signed.
Oh, they're all signed.
Yeah, they're all signed. That's the only one that isn't.
May have been that the responsible party wasn't there.
She usually has signatures.
Yeah, couldn't he?
It wasn't likely, yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. Okay. And agent report.
Okay. I'd like to start off with the Hanson Water Department, got a superior rating with DEP, sanitary survey, management. It's one of the best public water supply systems in the state. They're holding a banquet at the State House Great Room to present the awards. 3 years in a row, we've been in the top 10. Hopefully this year we'll be in the top 2 and 3. I'd say it was exceptional sanitary survey, and our sampling and everything is great. We produce a good product, and big cheers to the water department, because we as the Board of Health get a report of everything they do. So it makes me feel good being a water commissioner chair and being the health agent, because it does interact more than I ever thought it would. In the previous years, but whatever they do, the Board of Health gets a copy. So that's my thing there. I have to get that plugged in.
Right.
So the one project I think that to talk about. Yes. Over Friday, we did emergency beaver removal project for the Keolis. It's at Brian's Crossing, which is north of Depot Village. We were supposed to do the site visit today to show that, because no one can interfere with wildlife. Mass wildlife cannot. You cannot interfere with wildlife habitat. The only people that can do that, alter the habitat or remove the wildlife, is Conservation and Board of Health. We have the authority under Mass General Law and under the Federal Railroad Association Administration. So that's being done. It was supposed to start today. It was supposed to get on there today, but he didn't start. He's probably going to start probably Thursday. And what they have a trapper come in first, and to establish the population, and then they have a crew come in. They're going to be tearing down the dams and the domes and get that water flowing, because it's against the culvert that cannot hold
It
the
happens
water.
all the time at Burridge.
So we went that route
All
last
the
year,
time.
so that's the thing. And and the rest of this subdivision I'm talking about, Liberty Woods subdivision, it's just down the street here. The machines are moved in there now. I think he's got probably 10 machines in now, and they're talking about doing the roadway first. They're going to do the water first, and then start the roadway. And in the roadway, we have what's called sanitary manholes. There's 13 of them, and what happens is none of the buildings have septic tanks. There's a pipe coming out of the building going directly into a sanitary manhole, and that sanitary manhole collects it, and it goes to the next sanitary manhole, which collects the next couple of buildings. So we have 13 sanitary manholes, and we got 2 large septic tanks and pump chambers, and we have what's called an innovative alternative system, a Presby system. It's a huge system, and there's a lot involved in it. I was told previously that Presby would send in people out, to help the people install it and watch the people install it, and also help, the inspectors inspect and stuff. But apparently they don't do that anymore. Even though the person that gets certified, installing systems, sometimes not that great. So the system that we watch is quite complicated, and it's quite large. And in talking to everybody that, normally anything associated with septic system has to be inspected. So these sanitary manholes have to be inspected. They have to be sitting on stone, and we have to make sure they're not taking in groundwater. So this is gonna take up a lot of time. How much time we don't know. I've talked to Colin McSweeney today. He was here today to discuss something else, and he's looking it over. And we're gonna talk when this all starts. The digout's quite large, and the sand being brought in. I forget like 400 loads of sand are supposed to be coming in for it. So it's the septic field itself is complicated. There's a lot of different manifolds and stuff like that. And like I said, where each building doesn't have a septic tank, it's dumping into the pipe going direct into the sanitary manhole. So there's a lot of time involved in this particular subdivision. And, it takes time and, we've got these coming up, like I said, cushion trails, which just continue on. And I know when Egan, who's starting his, Thursday, he's got a crane coming in, he's gonna do the big tank there, so this stuff's starting to build up now. And that's why I say, I think, as things progress over the next 2 weeks, the time we start sitting and talking about this. Colin's willing to help out in any way he can. We had a plan for Thursday to change subject. Shaw Septic System, they were planning on doing the test Thursday, but the components aren't all set up yet. So they're talking about doing Friday. Conservation agent, myself, I emailed them back, says, no, we can't do it on Friday. It's got to be a full day, during the week, we work, so. But like I say, these things they're building up, and I think, a couple of these, we got to sit and talk about how we're gonna, take care of some of these things and, in a timely fashion. Like, we've never held anybody up on anything, and we've always responded and people need it, so. But I think, what's happening, this town's never seen a 3-story building. We're gonna have a few of them around here. And, housing inspections, that type of thing, the housing code's changed, and so I think there's, when you talk about duties of the health agent, we gotta talk about duties of the health agent. We gotta talk about these different things that are coming down the pike and what we gotta do. Because some of these things Hanson's never seen this entire lifetime, and it's coming our way now, 2023.
I also just wanted to thank you for holding down the fort last week.
Yeah, it's, and I think that's, things we gotta discuss, her vacation, Teresa's vacation time, my vacation time, my time off, and, it just, never really taken, I'm gonna really start thinking about doing it, so. And it's, it's a lot. And like I say, these unfunded mandates, they're coming down the pike here, they're just, taking up more time. So.
I just can't emphasize enough, you just communicate. Let us know, put it on the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
So we can all strategize and brainstorm how to help adjust whatever we need to do. But I would prefer it not wait until it gets to be unmanageable. Let's talk about it early and often. And I like that you're modifying your report. I like the times. I think it's helpful. I imagine it's probably helpful for you too. Just to see where
you realize, when I go to a septic system that's 10 minutes away, I go there 4 or 5 times. It adds up in time.
Yeah, travel time. Sure.
I got to straighten my mileage thing out. I mean, it's just.
Yes, you do.
So.
Any thoughts, comments, questions?
No.
Kevin? All right.
I don't have anything.
Gil, you good? Anything else?
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, I think I don't want to blast everybody with everything, but I think that we got the next meeting. We'll pick one subject and work on it, and that's why I call workshopping.
Okay.
Workshops when you get together and work things out.
All right. Great. That's
Would you
it.
like a motion?
I will take
I'd like a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.